So altogether, the grand total is What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today is the day you have all been waiting for. How much money did I set on fire with my salvage title Copart Range Rover? Let's find out. I'm going to start with the disclaimer. Put a little asterisk up in the top. This thing is not 100%. Okay, now it is completely good to go, run and drive. I've been driving this vehicle on the road every day, but there is some cosmetic stuff, so I want to make sure I put that in first. There is a couple things I still need to fix, but I don't really factor that into the overall drivability of the vehicle. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into this. Having the vehicle shipped to us, at that time the suspension wasn't working, so I guess when they were loading or unloading the vehicle, they actually ripped these trim pieces off right here on the side, and I'll show them to you on the other side so you can see what's missing. See these two trim pieces on the side here on the bottom of the doors, the front and back, they're both ripped off the other side. Now they did give us the money to replace them, so I'm not really factoring them in the price, but it still needs to be fixed. As I mentioned in some of my other videos, the suspension light is still on because of the ride height sensor. Now it doesn't really affect the drivability of the vehicle. I think it's more for going off-road to adjust the suspension. Suspension's all even, it doesn't affect it going down the road. It seems to be fine, so I'm not too worried about it as of right now, but it still needs to be fixed. Also, as you can see, the headliner needs a little bit of TLC. Once again, that's a cosmetic thing. It's not really affecting the drivability of the vehicle. Fixed is the actual DVD player. So both of the TVs work, but for some reason it's not reading any of the discs. Now I've done a little bit of research. They said that there's a disc to update the software or to clean the lens to read the discs, but I'm just not too worried about that right now. But yeah, that still needs to be fixed to get that DVD player working. Now, as I said, most of those are cosmetic issues and they don't really affect the drivability of the vehicle, but I'm still particular. I like to have my things mint, so I still wanted to factor that in and make that a disclaimer in the beginning. Now let's get in and break it down dollar by dollar how much I got into this thing. All right, so first, the initial price to purchase the vehicle. Now on Copart, if those of you that are not familiar with Copart, it's similar to eBay. They have an actual auction date and then they have a buy it now price. Now we were a little crunched for time, so we went ahead and purchased it at the buy it now price, and that was $4,900. Okay, $4,900. Like I said, we were a little bit crunched on time. It was last minute. We were trying to get a backup vehicle before we moved, so we had already lost a couple auctions, so we just went ahead and purchased this at $4,900. My wife really wanted it, so we went ahead and got it. Now, if you're not familiar with Copart, they also have fees, Copart fees. Depending on the purchase price of the vehicle, what you win your bid at will have a set amount of money, and they have different scales. If you go onto the Copart website, you can actually see. Now for this, I think it's $4,000 and $5,000. This was $600 for a non-business consumer member. The fee was $600. Now we also had to ship the vehicle from Houston to Killeen, Texas. It was about 4.5, 5 hours. And they charged us, I believe it was around $462 to actually bring the vehicle to us. So the very first thing we had, when we first got the vehicle, we had trouble even getting it off the trailer. The battery was shot. We had it hooked up to his dual batteries on his tow truck. And I also had another vehicle hooked up the battery, and we just barely got enough juice to get it off the truck. So the first thing we invested in is an AutoZone battery. $192 we spent just to put this battery in the vehicle, and that was the first major purchase for this vehicle to get it up and running. Now once we had it there, we got it up, we got a good power to it, but we still had a bunch of faults. And you can actually go back and look, one of my first videos on YouTube, I'll show you our dashboard was lit up like a Christmas tree. We had all kind of faults, all kind of service lights. So the first thing we did was change the brake light switch and the brake light bulbs in the rear. I went through some forums and saw that it actually caused a lot of faults. So under this panel, underneath the steering wheel, there's actually a brake light switch. It's fairly easy to replace, but that was, we replaced that along with the brake light bulbs and also the sunroof drain. So initially on the passenger side, the floorboard was soaked in water. So it was actually leaking from the sunroof drain into the cab, and we had to dry it all out. And I checked all the wiring, everything was good, but I did replace the actual lines that run out to the fender. So altogether, the brake light switch, brake light bulbs, and the sunroof drain hoses with the connectors were altogether around $60. That got the vehicle to where it would at least run and drive, shift in the drive, shift in the reverse, and we could at least, get it running, but it still wasn't drivable. The suspension was on the ground. The transmission was shifting funny. There was still a bunch of different faults on the dashboard, so I still didn't really know what was going on. Started doing a bunch of research on the faults I was having and common problems people were having with these Range Rovers. Come to find out, a common issue is water leaking from the front here in the windshield in this gap and down into the integrated transfer case module. So there's two modules that actually sit back here behind the battery. You have to pull the battery, and there's two modules back there. So that module cost me $125. When I pulled it out, it was all burnt up. It was actually leaking water from out of the computer. It was in bad shape. So I actually, $125, I found it, I believe, on eBay, and I replaced that module. Now the problem with that module, whether it's brand new or used, it has to be programmed to the vehicle. So I researched a bunch of different shops trying to find the closest Land Rover dealer was about 2.5 hours away. I did find a local independent shop that works on Range Rovers and could hook up to the car. Now they charged me $375 to actually program that module to this vehicle. And that was the most expensive part I had to put into the vehicle, was actually the software, programming the software to the module to this vehicle, and $375. Also, we went ahead and purchased 4 new tires. This rear tire here actually had a puncture in the sidewall. So instead of messing around, we just bought 4 new tires. It was around $240 for the tires. And then I think they only charged us like 15 bucks to, mount and balance them. It was a package deal they had going. So I just went ahead and replaced all 4 tires. So as I started doing more research and learning about the water leaking down in here, I noticed this battery cover was missing. So I found one online. I think it was about $30. We went ahead and bought this battery cover to try to keep as much water and stuff out of that compartment as possible. What we did so far was this ride height sensor. So I did buy an aftermarket ride height sensor and a wiring harness from the junkyard and tried to fiddle with this ride height sensor that seems to be giving us some problems. So together they were about 40 bucks for both of them. So I did do that, but I'm still having issues with that. So I'll put an asterisk next to that, but I did spend about 40 bucks trying to get this ride height sensor back. Now I'm not sure if it needs the height calibration or if there's a ground missing. I still got to play with that, but I do factor in that I did spend 40 bucks on that part. So altogether, the grand total is $6,962 I've officially invested in this Range Rover. Okay, guys, so I also forgot that I did replace the air compressor. I found one on Amazon for around 150 bucks for the suspension. And I also replaced the alternator, was $125. I actually got it from Walmart.com. So yeah, I forgot those 2 things. So the grand total actually was $7,237. Also, I want you to keep in mind that I'm using all aftermarket parts. So if you're trying to go to the dealership for your parts, you're probably going to be paying a lot more. But I'm not too particular. I just want to get this thing back on the road, and I didn't really, I don't mind replacing a part every couple years rather than pay an extra, couple $100. So it's all on to each his own, but just so you know, I'm using aftermarket cheaper parts. So I did about 90% of the work myself, so I saved a lot of money on labor costs. If we were taking this to a shop and had them fix it, you've been paying a lot out of pocket. Now, if I go back and look at the Copart listing, they had an estimated retail value of $7,100, and Kelly Blue Book got it between $5,500 and $8,800, something like that. And keep in mind that's for clean titles. This is a salvage title, so it's definitely not going to be worth that much. Now, do I feel that it was worth it? So a couple things will factor into that. If you're trying to make money off of this, definitely not. I don't think I definitely would not have made the money, will not make the money back trying to sell this vehicle. So overall, personally for me, I feel it was worth it. We had a lot of fun fixing this car up. My sons helped me work on this vehicle. We got a nice little luxury SUV backup vehicle we get to play around, have fun with, drive around, putz around, and yeah, overall for me, I feel it was worth it. if you're looking for a nice little project, look into some salvage titles. You might save a couple thousand. I've seen some of these things with more mileage go for, you know, 10, 11, 12,000 with the clean title. So yeah, I think overall, you know, we made out pretty good. Just understand that the resale value on the salvage title is going to be a lot less than what you would have with a clean title. So as long as you understand that going in, and you understand the purpose is not to resell the vehicle, it's to have a nice little fun vehicle to drive around and save a couple grand, then salvage titles may be for you. Other than that, cherish life, enjoy your liberty, pursue your happiness, and please hit that subscribe button down below. Have a great day.